from 2014. How one grieves is related to how they love. Such was the lesson of the woman survivors of Birkenau-Belsen who prayed for their jailers to come to know God as opposed to facing secular justice. So, in the wake of tragedy of MH17, a couple who lost 3 children and their children's grandparents grieved by affirming that their love is stronger than evil which claims those lives. Such love is humbling. It is terrorism which claimed these lives, and it is clothed as an accident. It may well be an accident, but an accident that suits the purposes of terrorists. Ukraine has not been asked to address salient points regarding this. For justice to be done, that must happen. 2 more military jets of Ukraine have been shot down since the incident. Clearly, no civilian craft should have been cleared to fly through that war zone. It is doubtful that Malaysian Airways would have ignored a directive to avoid a war zone. Russia is being blamed for supplying the separatists. Ukraine is responsible for the civilian casualties in their war zone. As far as religion is concerned, there is forgiveness. As far as secular administration is concerned, justice is not being served while Ukraine ducks responsibility. A counterpoint to the pain and love and loss being experienced over MH17 is the issue of an Australian woman in Lebanon who has been separated for adultery. The mother is in her 20s and separated from her husband. She has flown to Lebanon for a vacation with her intended second husband. Her first husband has called Lebanese authorities, and the woman now faces jail for adultery. International law is clear. It is up to local law to sort the matter. The woman's family have disowned her. None of the family seem particularly devout in Islam, and so it seems inappropriate that Islam should deal with her. She is no threat to Islamic couples, neither is she an example. I could be wrong. Perhaps all Islamic relationships are so fragile that if that woman got away with it, then Islam would be threatened. She would have been a better holiday had she gone to Israel. Even Gaza would have been cheaper. However, the issue of terrorism is important. Australia must take a stand against it. We cannot tolerate Australians being radicalized and threatening Australians. A case could be made regarding the Australian-based husband and family in this case. Inciting religious hatred overseas on an Australian is a low act of bastardry. Maybe these people should be deported lest they become a threat to other locals. A fur trapper in New France set up a trading post on this day in 1701. It became Detroit years later. The trapper Antoine Lorme de la Motte de Cadillac was influential and successful, and so when the corporation Cadillac was begun in the early 20th century, they chose the name in tribute. In 1487, Dutch peoples went on strike over the issue of a ban on foreign beer. 5 centuries on, little has changed in attitude. In 1567, Mary, Queen of Scots, abdicated her throne in favor of the future King of England, her son. In 1814, the War of 1812 had advanced so far as to become U.S. troops invading British territory. In 1823, Chile abolished slavery. In 1847, Salt Lake City was settled as some Mormons completed an 18-month journey. In 1901, the brilliant writer O. Henry was released from prison for embezzling from a bank. In 1911, Machu Picchu was rediscovered. In 1922, draft for British Palestine was accepted by the League of Nations. In 1929, League of Nations renounced war as foreign policy. In 1935, global warming meant Chicago reached 43 degrees centigrade. In 1937, Alabama dropped charges against the Scottsboro Boys. In 1943, Operation Gomorrah began with a bombing of Hamburg, killing over 30,000 people in the month up to November. In 1959, Nixon and Khrushchev had a kitchen debate. In 1969, Apollo the 11th splashed down. In 1983, riots in Sri Lanka began the Civil War. Also in 1983, the Pine Tar incident meant the Yankees won a game they had lost. In 1990, Saddam Hussein committed a delayed suicide by amassing troops on Kuwait. In 1991, Manmohan Singh gave a budget speech which initialized liberalization of the Indian economy. In 2001, the last Tsar of Bulgaria became her elected prime minister. And in 2001, 14 terrorists damaged an airport in Sri Lanka. In 2002, a Democrat was expelled from Congress for corruption. Maybe for the last time. That's it for today. If you come by this video at a later time and you like it, also feel free to comment and share. Spread the love. Be well.